So today we're going to dive into a pretty radical new way to create software. And it didn't start with some crazy technical breakthrough or a flash of genius. It actually started with a really common problem. A company's brand just didn't fit anymore. But the solution they found? Well, it might just change how we think about building things forever.
All right, let me start by asking you a question. What if creating software wasn't about grinding away, typing line after line of code? What if it was just about clearly communicating what you want? I mean, what if you could literally talk a system into existence? Just hang on to that thought, okay? Because it's pretty much the key to this whole story.
So our story actually kicks off at this company, Ace Digital Global. And they weren't trying to invent some new development paradigm. Nope, they were just trying to fix a branding crisis. See, to the outside world, they look like just another generic AI website. But on the inside, they had become something way, way more complex.
So the team had to do this brutally honest reality check. They asked themselves, who are we, really? They weren't just a company making some AI tools. They were building entire systems. They were global, professional, and ready for the enterprise. Their whole philosophy was built on this partnership between humans and AI, all driven by a strong founder-led vision. Their brand just had to catch up and look like more than just some startup's plaything.
So the founder and their internal AI council kicked off what they actually called brutally honest council mode. And you can forget about those long, boring design meetings. This was different. This was a rapid-fire, no-holds-barred review of new branding ideas designed to just cut through all the noise and find the truth fast.
And yeah, the rejections, they came fast. This first design, with its neon badge thing, it was an immediate no. I mean, it just screamed gaming guild, right? And that would have just torpedoed any trust they were trying to build with big enterprise clients. It's a perfect example of how one little visual can send a completely wrong message.
But then, bam, they found a winner. This one, with the dark grid and the neon lines, it just felt different. This thing didn't feel like just another agency website. It felt like a platform. It hinted at infrastructure, at systems, at an AI operating layer. This was it. This was the look that finally matched who they really were. And this is where everything changes. The goal completely shifted. This wasn't about just building a new homepage anymore. This whole rebrand suddenly became the first real-world test for their own internal AI operating system, the Evergreen Stack. The new mission was to see if their system could build its own face for the world.
Okay, this is where it starts to get really cool. To get this system to build their site, they couldn't just, draw something on a whiteboard and hope for the best. They needed a whole new way to command the AI. And that need gave birth to the build order method.
See, a build order isn't just some simple prompt you type in. Think of it more like a formal document, a structured artifact that lays out the what, the why, and the how. It communicates your intent, it sets the rules and constraints, and it gives the AI agents clear objectives to hit. It completely takes the place of a human needing to code every single step by hand.
And get this, they weren't just talking to one single AI. They were basically conducting what they called an AI civilization, a whole team of specialized agents where each one has a specific job. You've got Adam, who's like the project manager, orchestrating the whole workflow. Then there's the builder, who actually writes and changes the code. The design agent keeps everything looking consistent. The governor is like quality control, making sure everything sticks to the brand rules. And this is so important, the logger tracks every single decision, giving you a full audit trail. So with all the agents ready, they issued their first command, build order 001. And listen to the language here, it's so important, it's direct. It's all about speed and getting something working. Look, the goal wasn't to get some perfect masterpiece right out of the gate. It was about creating something functional, proving the system works, and shipping it fast.
All right, so the first build order is in, and the AI factory just springs to life. I mean, this was the real moment of truth, right? Could this structured communication, this build order, actually be turned into a real working product by a team of AIs? And the answer? Oh yeah, it was a big yes. The website just evolved through this series of controlled build orders, each one with a clear goal. Version 1 was just the basic skeleton, the proof of life. Then V2 comes along and adds a layer of credibility, makes it look professional. V3 infuses the company's unique identity. V4 adds a clear call to action. And finally, V5 cements their position as a serious enterprise partner. 5 different versions, all built in a controlled way, all driven by communication.
Now, this new process didn't just change how they build software. It totally changed how the founder even thought about their own role in the whole creation process. It led to this really deep personal insight.
I don't iterate, I communicate. Just let that sink in for a second. This one sentence, it basically sums up this entire shift in thinking. The founder realized their most valuable job wasn't to sit there endlessly tweaking pixels in code. No, it was to clearly communicate their intent, their direction, their vision to an intelligent system that could then go and build it.
And what we're seeing here is a totally new kind of creator. On one hand, you have the traditional builder. They're like a craftsman, right? Their effort is all about the keystrokes, the visible struggle. They're building the product directly with their own hands. But the systems communicator? They're more like an orchestra conductor. Their skill is measured by how well they can communicate their vision and orchestrate the whole system. They don't build the product, they communicate a system into being.
And just like that, a whole new methodology was born from this experience: communication-driven development. It's a new way of working, where the main thing you do is express your structured intent to a system of AI agents. And your job as a human shifts from doing all the grunt work to being the governor, the one providing that high-level oversight and guidance. So once they unlocked this new power, the team realized pretty quickly that this was way bigger than just building a better website. They had stumbled onto something much more fundamental.
This was like the huge aha moment. The website, that was never the real product. The real innovation, the actual product here, was the system that built the website. It was the AI-powered factory itself. And this factory, it has a really clear system. Think of it like a repeatable delivery pipeline. Any project you can imagine, a website, a big enterprise app, even a complex simulation, is just a workspace. And that workspace moves down a virtual assembly line, where all the different agents inspect it, build on it, and refine it until a finished, high-quality application rolls out the other side.
And this is where the journey really comes full circle, with a final step that is, honestly, it's kind of mind-bending. The ultimate goal became to create a system so advanced it could actually document and explain its own existence.
They call it the source-to-output pipeline. Here's how it works. Step 1. You create the single source of truth, a super detailed technical paper explaining the whole method. Step 2. You feed that paper into a knowledge engine, and from there, the system can automatically generate everything else you need. Explainer videos, these slide decks, training guides, you name it.
And what they call this is knowledge-first creation. And it's a really powerful idea when you think about it. You focus all your energy on building an incredible system and capturing its logic in one perfect source document. And then, you let the system tell its own story to the world, automatically.
So, that brings us all the way back to the question I asked you at the very beginning. But now it has a bit more weight to it, doesn't it? Now that you've seen what's actually possible, what's going through your head? If the only thing standing between you and creation was the clarity of your own voice, what worlds would you bring into existence?